Visions and dreams are God's way of appearing to you. When you read the Bible, Old Testament, New Testament, many times God appears himself through visions and dreams. Especially when you see that Abraham, when he was 75 years old, he was praying under his tent for his child. And God said, don't just crouch down under the tent, come out of tent, look to the sky, count the numbers of stars. So he came out of the tent and he looked to the sky. Many people crouched down in the church and said, oh God, please answer to my prayer. And even in prayer grotto, fast and pray for 1 week and cry. But God says, come out of your church, come out from your prayer grotto. Look to the promise of God. Accept God's visions and dreams. God has visions and dreams for you. And through that visions and dreams, God meets you there, definitely. It's a definite place to meet God, not vague place, real visions and dreams. God said, look to the sky, count the stars, and visualize that those stars are your children. You will have your children as numerous as those stars. And Abraham looked to the sky, counted the stars, and he was overwhelmed. And he believed God. And God took it as righteousness. Because when you have visions and dreams produce equivalent faith. Many people say we don't faith. That means that we don't have visions and dreams. Faith is coming by visions and dreams. When you have small vision, you don't need a large faith. God only gives you the small faith. But when you have big vision, God gives you big faith matching your vision. And Abraham, since that time, drew that picture of his children on the canvas of his heart. You have your canvas in your mind. Many people have empty canvas in their heart. But Abraham, from that time on, not only looking to the sky, he looked to the sky of his heart. The children and the stars are on his canvas, and he was looking at the canvas and rejoicing about his children. Then, of course, it took time. After 15 years, he had son Isaac. And I think he told his experience to his son Isaac, and Isaac told Jacob. Jacob learned the lesson from his father and from his grandfather, Abraham. Because Jacob went to his uncle's place to avoid the anger of his brother, and he stayed there for 20 years as common laborer. After 20 years, he wanted to come back home, but he was pauper. So uncle wanted Jacob to stay with him together. Jacob, stay with me together. Then Jacob said, if you really keep your promise and give me proper salary, you have been using my labor free of charge all these years. Now I should make my home. I need regular salary from you. So what kind of salary do you want? Let's make a bargain. You take all the spotted and speckled animals away from my herd. And when pure colored animals give birth to spotted and speckled, let them become my salary. The uncle hit his lap. Oh, this guy is deceiving himself. There are very slim chance for slim, pure colored animals to give birth to spotted and speckled. So my nephew, you are very wise. Very good. I agree with you. So he took all spotted and speckled animals 3-day distance. Then when uncle was away, Jacob began to apply the principle of looking the visions and dream. He went to the mountain and cut the popular tree, maple tree, and peeled out the skin of tree and make a spotted and speckled, and put them up. You see, devil is angry because I am destroying their deception. And the animals were making mate in front of the drinking trough. Right there, he put all his speckled trees, and he was watching in his heart that all of the animal which is becoming pregnant would bear spotted and speckled. It was his dream. People would call it foolish, but that is the principle where God meets. Definitely in our lives. He was looking at the trees, spotted speckled. Then he looks at the animals, that you all become pregnant with spotted and speckled. Sure enough, when animals give birth to an offspring, every one of them was spotted and speckled. Jacob was jumping with joy. Uncle was crying with sorrow. Soon he became an owner of the great numbers of animals. He became a very rich person. That gives us a very important lesson. In my ministry, people come to me and say, you have great church, big church, tremendous church. How come in the world could you have this kind of church? They don't know that before I have this church, I had all through my years the big church in the form of visions and dreams on my canvas of my mind. Morning, I get up, I look to the mind, I see the present church. Before this really came as a truth, I saw this church. Hundreds of thousands of people swarming to church. I see. Daytime, when I sit down, rest, and I close my eyes and I look into my heart, their canvas, I see the church. And at night, before I sleep, I look at my heart canvas and I see the church. And I say to myself, I am the pastor of this church. I am the pastor of this church. And there definitely I meet God, because God is appearing in the visions and dreams. I meet Him and I work together with Him. So these dreams and visions are bound to become reality. And not only church growth, but whenever I have a big project, I would always see first on the canvas of my mind, university, newspaper, training center, prayer mountain. All of these things I see on the canvas of my heart. And I rejoice with God together. And God appears through the visions and dreams. And things happen. When God asked me to help poor children to have heart operation, I had no idea how to do it because I don't have budget regularly to do that. So I was praying, then I began to see all of those children coming to me and reaching out hand and begging me to help them to get the operation of heart. So I saw them get all the operation and get health and rejoice in my visions and dream. I said, this is it. This should be done. Then the idea came in my heart. When I see the visions dream, God began to give me idea. You ask all the people to bring the waste paper, newspaper, and sell those waste newspaper, get the money and use that money as a seed money for the operation of heart. So when I asked people to bring the waste paper and newspaper, I tell you, our churchyard was piled up with waste paper. And we sold waste paper to the merchant, and we got quite amount of money. And when I began to use that money, people began to give free offering. So for a while, 10 years, I have helped 4,000 children from Southeast Asia to fly them in Korea, put them in hotel, children, parents, get them operated, take a lot of money, thousands of dollars for each. But God has helped me to pay for their expense, number 4,000. Just last week, the hospital made a special celebration, and they called me to cite me for this work. So whatsoever you have as a vision stream on the canvas of your heart, those things are going to happen, definitely. So I teach people, don't try to pray and cry without having the vision stream on your heart. So, with the blood of Jesus Christ, through the picture on your heart, the goal which you like to see in the form of visions and dream. Day in, day out, look at your vision, and those things are going to happen. These things I should not say to you, but you are special. I'm going to tell you, because I was very poor when I was growing up. That is the reason I could not even graduate high school. And from early age, I worked very hard on the street. So poverty was way of my living, and I was always thinking in terminology of poverty. And my parents and my family were all talking very negatively about rich people. They are bad people. My father said, good people will not become rich. These rich people are very bad people. He tried to excuse himself being poor. But that became my vision. I always thought that poverty is my fate. And when I became a preacher, I had no money. I was under tent on the metro, in very poor area, and I was proud that I was in that place. And when I look at the good church in the downtown, I despise them. They are all fallen people. They are not God's people because they are rich. And I struggled very much, but I could not have much offering from Christian because poor people have no money to give. So naturally, as a pastor, I was very poor, very poor. So I prayed to God, Father, should I live this way throughout my life? God said, I have blessed you. But where is the blessing? You are blocking the blessing through your own heart. Change your visions of yourself, your self-image. People all have their self-image. You have self-image of very poverty-stricken man, but have the self-image of blessed rich person. As a blessed rich person, yeah, when you have that self-image, that visions and dream attract the blessing from your circumstances, because your visions and dreams are magnetic power of attraction. So I began to change, erased all the bad poverty-stricken visions and dreams from my heart, and I began to draw a new picture of being rich, blessed, and sharing things with poor people. And I was seeing that picture of myself day in, day out. And after a little while, I was amazed that I was living in good home, driving good car, wearing good clothes. I said, am I backslidden? Why do I live in good home, good car, wearing good clothes? And God said, no, this is normal life that I want my people to live. This is normal life. So everything happens according to the picture you draw on your heart. All pastors who want to have church growth, they should have future church already accomplished in the form of visions and dreams. Put that picture on the canvas of your heart and watch that day in, day out. Then God worked together through the visions and dreams, because visions and dreams are the place where God meets you personally. So visions and dreams are so important. I heard a very interesting story. One man has had two sons. First son was very talented. Second son was lacking the intellect. And he wrote a slogan and put on the wall. The slogan was, "There is no vision." And so first son would come in and go out. Every day he is looking at wall in the living room, read it loudly. There is no vision. And so, because there's no vision, why should I struggle? He had empty canvas of his heart. He was not concentrating on anything. Then later, he became the homeless, sleeping on the bench in the public park. But second son, who is lacking intellect, became professor in university. How come? People ask. He was not intellectual, so he could not read his father's slogan. Instead of reading, there is no vision, he read, there is now here. There is vision now here. Nowhere he read, there is now here. So every day he was looking at it. There is vision now here. So my vision is becoming a professor. So his brother was intellectual, but he was reading right way. There is no vision. But this boy was reading in wrong way. There is now vision here. Same character, but he was mistaken in reading. And he had vision of becoming a professor, and he became a professor. As you have vision, it's going to be like that in your life. So I've been trying all through my life of ministry, teaching people to have vision. Sick people, they come and fast and pray, sometimes 15 days, 40 days, but they will not get any result because they have wrong start. I ask them to hang up the healthy person on their heart. One sister was dying from the breast cancer. She received operation and that did not help her. And she fasted and prayed and she did everything, but the sickness was getting worse. She was crying and she said, "I'm not accepted by God. God hates me. I'm given up." But I said, "You have your canvas on your heart. What do you have there? You have there your self sick and dying from cancer. Before you change the picture, you can't ask God to cooperate with you together. You can meet God through your vision stream. And your vision is your sick personal picture. Take down the sick person from your heart canvas. Hang up new picture, healed, strong, healthy, joyful." And she says, "How can I do that? Do you have picture when you were young and healthy?" She said, "Yes." Duplicate many of those pictures and hang up in the wall of the kitchen, toilet, bedroom, living room. Look at your young, healthy picture constantly and say in yourself, "I am that person in the name of Jesus Christ. That is the will of God. I am that person. I am not this old, sick person. I'm that young person." She was praising God for that, and she was healed. The prayer answered. Vague prayer will not bring the result. Many people are having a vague prayer. Of course, they fast and they spend prayer for 1 week and in prayer grotto, but God say, "Come out of there, come out there. Don't only pray under the tent, come out and look at to the vision." So you must have vision in your heart when you pray. Goal vision brings yourself to the fulfillment of that vision. So having the vision is very important. Now, I have finished my ministry for 50 years, And I have new vision in my heart. I'm looking at my vision every day, every day. Last year, I almost died without having any definite names of sickness. I was dying because I was retired from my regular work. For 50 years, I was getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning, and coming out to church at 5 to conduct early morning prayer meeting. Regularly, I preached 3 times on Sunday, and I would spend every week about 2 to 5 hours in the prayer grotto. All of the regular life was jumbled, and I was in real chaos in my mind. Then I had sickness, and I thought that I was dying. I could hardly stand up. I could not eat, I could not sleep. And when I went to the hospital, doctor really told me that I was too old now, that I should be careful about myself. And I fainted in the car, and my secretary took by emergency office in the hospital, and all of those things. So I began to write my last will to my family and to my church, and I began to make arrangement of my life. Then God said, you have been all teaching throughout your life, fourth dimension. Where's your fourth dimension? You are all living in third dimension. Third dimensional way, you are destined to die. But my righteous are living by fourth dimension, not third dimension. Get my thoughts in your mind. Have my vision in your mind. Look at new vision every day. So I confessed my sin, and I began to hang up new picture on my heart. I see myself young, healthy, strong, rejuvenated. So I see myself right now, even right now, as a young man in my 40s. So my new vision is that I would live up till 90 years old without sickness and disease and weakness and infirmity. And carry out my ministry again throughout Korea and throughout the world wherever God calls me. And when I changed the visions, thoughts and visions according to God, wonderfully this year, from the January, I began to regain the strength and the power. And I was healed. To me, it is marvelous to stand before 100,000 people yesterday in the Sangam Stadium and preach to them. I could not dream of that. I thought that was all gone, finished, all the story. But all the stories became new story now. So I am telling you what I know and experienced. I am not telling you the theory. Because of that, I am very bold. I have tasted and I know that this works. So have the visions and dream on your heart for your future as a present in your situation. Then God works through your visions and dream